I need to start this video by saying first that I am a huge fan of K&N products. I have installed their intakes on my 2017 Toyota Corolla, my 2012 Scion XB, and I installed a drop-in filter on my 2000 model Toyota Camry. In each of these cars there was a noticeable improvement in both performance and fuel economy, but on the FRS, well, this is all it's really good for. Pure unfiltered induction noise, which is a lot of fun, but when you spend $350 on an intake, you want something a little more than just noise, maybe horsepower or something. Your butt dyno will tell you that this intake makes the car feel a lot more responsive and powerful, but actual dyno tests will show that this is mostly a placebo effect. Independent dyno testing has shown that aftermarket intakes on the Scion FRS really don't make enough power to justify their cost. And I actually knew this before I purchased the K&N Typhoon intake. So why then did I bother buying an aftermarket intake? Well, because when I picked up the car, it came with this. Look at this thing. This is the Weapon R secret weapon intake for the FRS. It looks like a high school shop project. The heat shield is just a sheet of bent aluminum and it's completely open on one side. The intake tube is literally just laying in the heat shield and it's completely unsecure, which means that it's bouncing off the serpentine belt constantly. And finally, there's enough sharp edges on this thing to give Iron Man tetanus. I knew I wanted to replace it, so I decided to do a little research, and I found that I loved the intake sound of the K&N filter, so that's what I went with. K&N claims that this intake will give the FRS a 6.6 horsepower boost at the wheels. Assuming that's factual, then we will determine the value of the intake as the price of the intake of $350 divided by K&N's claim of 6.6 wheel horsepower, and that gives us a grand total of $53.03 per horsepower. And that may be a little expensive for some people, but I didn't buy this intake purely for the power. Heck, if I had that mindset, I may not have bought an FRS in the first place. No, I bought this intake because it sounds epic and it looks right at home at the front of the engine bay. So if looking good and sounding good are two things that are important to you, then you may like this intake. I said at the beginning of this video that I was a fan of K&N's products. That hasn't changed with this one.